Dear student, we will continue with the enzyme part 2. Now we will discuss mechanism of enzyme action. The enzyme act by lowering activation energy. Activation energy is the energy required by the molecule of substrate to get activated. During the process, the kinetic energy of the molecule is raised to a level so that the chemical reaction can continue to occur. Therefore, the initial energy input, which is later on paid back as a reaction proceed, is called activation energy. The activation energy is usually obtained by the reactant in the form of heat, which they absorb from the surroundings. Now, the heat energy is converted to kinetic energy and increases the collision of atoms in reactant. The energy available to the atoms help in making and breaking of bond. So, the reactant, which are initially at low energy state, they absorb the energy from the surrounding, and as a result, their kinetic energy increases and the reactant undergo a transition state. So transition state is the unstable state. It is high energy state in which the making and breaking of bond is taking place. Now as a result, what will happen, because this is highly unstable state, after the making and breaking of bond is done, the reactant is converted to product and the chemical reaction is completed by the energy released during the reaction. So no further energy input is required. So with the time, if you plot between the energy and time, you can see the reactant, they undergo a transition state, and immediately, because here in the transition state the reactant will not remain for a longer time because it is unstable stage, and immediately it get converted to product. Now if the activation energy is low, the rate of chemical reaction is high, and vice versa. Activation energy is too high for the reaction. If it is too high for the reaction, the chemical reaction do not proceed at all without input of energy. So with a low energy, the reaction proceeds. The process of speeding up a reaction by reducing its activation energy is called catalysis. And the factor that is added to lower down the activation energy is called catalyst, and the enzymes are biological catalysts. So similar function is done by the catalyst during the chemical reaction, whereas in the biological or biochemical reaction, this is done by enzyme. Therefore, the enzymes act by lowering the activation energy. Now, let's see some proposed hypothesis for the enzyme action. So, try to understand this. Here, the enzyme react with the substrate and form enzyme substrate complex, and this enzyme substrate complex later on releases the product and the enzyme. So, enzyme is recovered during the reaction and substrate is converted to product. Okay. Now, this complex is a transition state in which the reaction occur by molecular collision and by making and breaking of bond. So here two models are proposed to um, explain the catalysis and specificity of enzyme. One is lock and key hypothesis and another one is induced fit hypothesis. So first we will discuss the lock and key hypothesis, which is given by Emil Fischer in 1899. The structure, now according to this model or hypothesis, the structure of active site of the enzyme is fixed. Therefore specific substrate only can bind or fit into this active site, just like a specific lock has a specific key. So you can see enzyme, specific substrate fit into that, no other substrate can fit. Okay, then if you look at the induced fit hypothesis, which is given by Kosslyn in 1958, the structure of active site is dynamic, means it is not fixed, and the conformation of active site, it keep changes when the substrate approach the enzyme. Okay, so when the substrate approaches the enzyme, the active site will have 3D conformational change so that it will fit. So you can see this, enzyme is there, substrate is there. Now enzyme has no fixed active site, so when the substrate is approaching, certain conformational changes are occurring. of course in the whole structure, but specifically at active site, and then the substrate fit into the enzyme. Okay, so this is the basic difference between the two proposed model. Now properties of enzyme specificity, they are highly specific as far as the substrate is concerned, temperature is concerned, pH is concerned. They are high, they have high efficiency. For example, catalase, they can decompose 50 lakh molecules of hydrogen peroxide in 1 minute at 0 degrees Celsius. And then enzyme catalysis, the enzyme catalyzes the reaction in both the direction, forward and backward. Now we'll see the factor affecting the enzyme activity, the temperature, sensitivity, pH and substrate concentration. So at low temperature, enzyme activity is inhibited. At high temperature, enzyme is denatured, so it becomes non-functional. So at optimum temperature, it has good activity. Now the temperature at which the enzyme show high efficiency of activity is defined as optimum temperature, and for most of the enzyme it ranges between 35 to 40 degrees Celsius. pH sensitivity, some enzyme need acidic whereas some need alkaline to be functional. pH of the medium in which the enzyme act is affected by hydrogen ion concentration, and the optimum pH range for most of the enzyme is 6 to 7.5 on pH scale. Now substrate concentration, initially the rate of enzyme reaction increases with increase in the substrate concentration, but after some time all the enzymes are saturated with substrate. Therefore further increase in the substrate concentration will not increase the rate of reaction. So this is how the concentration of substrate matters. Now let's talk about the inhibition of enzyme activity. Under what circumstances the enzyme activity is inhibited? So there are inhibitors which are responsible for this. Now what are inhibitors? They are the chemicals which when bind to enzyme causes inhibition of enzyme activity. Now there are different types of inhibition: reversible, non-reversible and allosteric inhibition, which is also known as feedback inhibition. So the basic difference between the reversible and non-reversible is that here the enzyme will not bind with the substrate. Instead of that, it binds with the inhibitor and form enzyme inhibitor complex. Okay, and but somehow this is reversible. So when like substrate concentration is increased, then enzyme will leave the inhibitor and bind with the substrate and catalyzes the formation of product. Whereas if you see non-reversible, here once the enzyme inhibitor complex is formed, then there is no further conversion to the product. So product in any case will not form. Now again, reversible is of two types, competitive and non-competitive. Let's see what is the difference between two. So let's discuss first the competitive inhibition. Here the inhibitor compete with the substrate to bind at the active site of the enzyme. As a result, instead of enzyme substrate, enzyme inhibitor complex is formed and the inhibitor resembles the substrate. So there is competition between the two. So here you can see enzyme is there, substrate is there, inhibitor is there. So instead of substrate, the inhibitor is binding. If you look at this, the non-competitive inhibition, the inhibitor do not compete to bind at the active site. Okay, so there is no competition between the substrate and inhibitor. The inhibitor, the substrate also bind to the active site, whereas the inhibitor bind to the other site of the enzyme. Okay, so the complex which is formed is enzyme substrate inhibitor complex, and the inhibitor, what it do, it alters the activity of enzyme. So the enzyme the inhibitor over here is not resembling with the substrate. So in this case, to regain the activity of enzyme, the inhibitor has to be removed by dialysis. Whereas if you see the competitive one, when the concentration of substrate increases, the competitive inhibition can be overcome or reversed. Now here we'll consider one example. For example, succinate dehydrogenase is the enzyme whose substrate is succinate, and when it catalyzes the formation of product, So from the succinate, the fumarate is formed in presence of the enzyme succinate dehydrogenase. Now there is an inhibitor called malonate. Malonate resembles with succinate. See, just it is 3 carbon and this is 4 carbon. Okay. So succinate, if its concentration is more, then the succinate dehydrogenase will bind with malonate instead of succinate. But when it bind to malonate, it will not form the fumarate. Okay. Then similarly, this particular strategy is also used as a strategy in drug designing. The bacteria synthesizes folic acid in presence of enzyme dihydroxyapatite synthetase, and sulfur drugs act as a competitive inhibitor of its substrate. So this synthetase enzyme is there, and its substrate is paraaminobenzoic acid. Okay, so when sulfur drugs are present, then this enzyme binds with the sulfur drugs. So there is no further formation of folic acid that occurs. So folic acid synthesis is inhibited. So as a result, the bacterial multiplication is inhibited. So sulfur drugs, they can inhibit the bacterial growth in this way. Okay. Over here, the example are certain metal ion. They act as an inhibitor to many enzymes. So once they are added, then they bind with the enzyme along with the substrate, but will not catalyze the formation of product. Okay. So this is what is the inhibition. Now, if you talk about irreversible inhibition, the inhibitor bind covalently with the enzyme and deactivate the enzyme irreversibly. For example, penicillin, it bind irreversibly with serine in enzyme and blocks the bacterial cell wall synthesis. Now let's talk about the allosteric inhibition. When the end product of the enzyme bind with the allosteric site, it inhibits catalytic activity. This is called allosteric transition or inhibition. Now what are allosteric enzyme? Let's understand this first. They are the enzyme that are involved in the regulation. They have two active site, one for the binding of substrate and another one is for binding of regulatory substrate or effector, and this is also known as allosteric site. So they have two different binding site. So when regulatory subunit bind non-covalently, it introduces conformational changes. So when the substrate bind, it catalyzes the formation of product. But to the other side, when any regulatory subunit bind, then it introduces the conformational changes in the enzyme and this lead to the either activation or inhibition of catalytic activity. During allosteric inhibition, the accumulation of end product of the pathway inactivate the allosteric enzyme and control the rate of synthesis of metabolite or metabolism, the overall metabolism. For example, here glucose 6-phosphate, it acts as allosteric inhibitor that inhibit the activity of enzyme hexokinase in glycolysis pathway. So you just consider the hexoenzyme, it acts on the glucose, it converts the glucose to glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, and then later on glucose 6-phosphate is converted into some other product, and like that number of metabolite are formed before the pyruvate, which is the end product of glycolysis, form. Okay, now just to understand, A, B, C, D, here A is the initial substrate, E is the end product, and then B, C, D are intermediary metabolites. So E1, E2, E3, they are different enzyme catalyzing the different reaction in a pathway. Okay, so end product over here will bind with the first enzyme. So first enzyme over here is the allosteric enzyme. Okay, and it inhibit the whole pathway. So this is also known as feedback inhibition. Now if you consider the uses of enzyme have great biological and physiological significance, and they are used in medical treatment and domestic purpose. Let's consider some of the enzyme and their uses or application. Dietase, it is used to treat digestive disorders. Streptokinase used to clear the blood clot inside the blood vessel. Zymase is used in brewing alcoholic drinks. Protease used in detergent and washing powder. Amylase used in dish washer. Rennet or renin enzyme is used in cheese formation. Urease is used to treat waste. Trypsin is used in the preparation of baby food, and pectinase is used in clearing the fruit juices. So these are certain uses of enzymes. So here we complete the enzyme.